record. Oh my goodness, I have been counting the days. Amy Porterfield, I am
Oh my goodness, I have been counting.
so honored to have you here. First and foremost, to get the chance to say thank you to you face to face. I might cry. The impact you have had on my life is truly amazing. By taking Digital Course Academy, I'm now earning in a week what I used to earn in a month. And more importantly, I remember the moment I was standing in a new mom's living room, talking her through her fears of being a new mom and cheering her on. And I got this wave of frustration came over me that I was only helping her. And I knew there's probably a dozen more moms like on her street, in her neighborhood that needed to hear this too. But I could only help one mom at a time. Yeah. And now by changing my business, going online, creating digital courses, and now coaching doulas, I am impacting so many families, and it is thanks to you. Oh, and your dog is live. I mean, I think, we talk about the money, but the impact that a digital course can, bringing your business online, the fact that you can help so many more people is just really amazing. And I did Digital Course Academy in 2019. So I watched all those videos. I was in Momentum, your membership for a year. It's actually, I have a membership that I really
love it.
Crafted after Momentum. So I've been watching you on screen for 4 years. So to have this chance to be talking face to face with you today and to introduce you to all these doulas is just an honor. So thank you so much.
Well, I'm so happy to be here and to connect with all of you. The work you're doing is so incredibly important. And I've never met a doula I didn't like. You guys just have a special spirit to you, that soulfulness that I absolutely love, including you, my friend. So thank you so much for having me here.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. That's very true. You don't ever meet a doula that's a jerk. So
no, truly. Takes a special type of person for sure.
Absolutely. So, doula work is so special and is so much about energy and connecting with people. How the heck can we take our expertise and experience as doulas and turn that into a digital course, something that's online?
So first, we got to think about the fact that so many people, especially I've worked with over 50,000 students helping them create digital courses. So I know what stops people in their tracks. And one of them is probably what a lot of doulas will think, where my work is so individual. I show up at someone's homes, their problems, their desires, their needs are different than the next person. So how would I ever create a digital course that would meet the needs of all these different types of people? And I've seen it done over and over again. Anybody that I work with that takes one-on-one work and turns it into a digital course, that is always the fear they have in the beginning. However, their desire to reach more people, to do things in a bigger way, to serve more, but also make a bigger impact and more money. And hopefully we're going to talk about money today, because making money is important. And I want to talk about that. But their desire for that is big enough to give them the courage to try it. And when they do, they realize, wait a second, I have a roadmap. The way I serve my audience, the way I do it, I have a model, a roadmap, a blueprint that I could teach inside of a course. But then what a lot of people do that work one-on-one and want to be more specialized in their course is they do something what I call the choose your adventure model. When my son was really little, I used to read him these books, and we'd get to a part in the book and it'd say, okay, you could choose your adventure. Do you want to do this and go to that page, or do you want to do this and go to that page? Well, in a course, you could do something similar where if you're having this challenge, this is the video you need to watch. If this is your concern, go here. I could serve you there. Like, there's different ways to customize a course depending on people's needs. So you don't have to let go of the customization while still serving many people at one time.
Such good advice. That's so true. So what do you see? I mean, there's so many doulas who do have successful businesses, we'll get into money right away, serving one person at a time. and a lot of times with doulas, like you're on call for 2 weeks and then you're at a 30-hour birth. What do you see as the benefit of having a digital course as a revenue generator for
So,
additional income in your
yes.
business?
So the reason why I've been teaching how to create digital courses for over 10 years now is because I personally started with digital courses in my own business because I wanted freedom. I wanted to work when I wanted, how I wanted, where I wanted, because when I had more freedom to do the kind of work I wanted to do, when, how, where, I showed up as a better version of myself. And so it's important for me that I get to go all in, but it's also important that I get to step back and have the white space. And having a digital course allows me to do that. When I first had a digital course, I also had a one-on-one consulting, coaching type of business. I had both at the same time. And so when I had the course and it was doing well, I got to be choosy on the type of clients that I would take. I got to charge more because I knew that I was now exclusive. I was only taking a few clients a month. And I also just got to be choosy in the way that I navigated my one-on-one work because I had an additional stream of revenue. The additional stream of revenue gives you more confidence in your ability to grow your business. It gives you more freedom in terms of when you do want to work and when you don't want to work. And it also allows you to bust through that ceiling of I can only make so much money because I'm trading time for dollars. And so it's that freedom that really opens up the opportunities.
Yes. And so many of us doulas have little kids. I mean, that's one of the things I've loved about creating an online business is I'm spending more time with my kids, and that's, you don't get that back. Which is amazing. So I got so caught up in saying thank you to you. I didn't even really introduce.
No
Um,
worries.
so not only are you amazing with Digital Course Academy, you have written the book 2 weeks notice about, giving you the guts to give you your own 2 weeks notice, but you used to work for Tony Robbins, right? And you gave your 2 weeks notice. And I love that story of, and I think taking it back to doulas, like if you hadn't had the guts to do that, I mean, working for Tony Robbins, that's a great job, but like you wanted to earn your own income. You wanted to design your own life, have more freedom, and then look at the impact just me that I shared. Like if you hadn't have done that, I would have done this.
It's so perfect. I love that you said that because everything that I've done in my business, the decisions I've made, the pivots I've made have been terrifying.
Yeah.
Leaving a 9 to 5 job, especially one where you work with someone cool like Tony Robbins and make lots of money and travel the world with him, like it was pretty amazing. But I always knew I'd always hit that glass ceiling and I'd always have a boss. So to me, I needed the freedom to do what I wanted to do in different ways. But I was terrified to do that. Then I was terrified to create my first digital course. And newsflash, it didn't go very well. My first digital course was a huge flop. I made $267. And in my mind, I thought, I'm going to have to beg Tony Robbins for a job back because I am not cut out to be a business owner or entrepreneur. And the reason my course didn't do well is I was teaching something that I actually didn't know how to teach. So let me tell you about that really fast. I teach this model called the 10% edge, which means when you're coming up with a course idea, and a lot of doulas listening right now, you're starting to think, well, what would I create a course on? Like, what possibly could I teach? Well, what I teach my students is to figure out your 10% edge. And newsflash, most of us have several 10% edges, which means we've gotten results for ourselves or for our clients or customers. And now we're going to teach how to get those results to more people. So as long as you've gotten results for yourself or for, let's say, those that you serve, your clients, you can teach it in a course. You don't need more time, more education, more certifications. You just need to be a few steps ahead of those you serve so you can show them the way. And so I was talking to another doula and she was telling me that she had a course. Actually, I take it back. It wasn't a doula. I've done a few interviews today. She teaches wedding planners, very different, but she teaches wedding planners. And she teaches wedding planners all these different things. But one thing she's really good at, her 10% edge, one of her 10% edges, is how to onboard a new client. All the things you need to do to onboard a new client. So she created what she calls a weekend course where you can get through it in a weekend, but she teaches you this one area of her expertise. And so that's her 10% edge. She has a few different 10% edges. So she's done a few weekend courses. She only charges $200, but they sell every day. She's making money every day with these courses. And so you only need a 10% edge. When I made my first course, I didn't have that 10% edge. I was teaching how to launch a book with social media. Had never launched a book in my life. I knew social media well, but I never launched a book. So I had to piece it together. And the challenge was I probably could have taught it well because I did my research. I didn't have any confidence in it. So when I went to sell, I just couldn't sell well because I knew in my back of my mind, I really didn't know the topic. So you want to find that 10% edge. But once you do, boom, you get to lock that in and you can create a course around it where you can shine online because you could teach it in your sleep.
So actually that reminds me, can you give me, I can think of a bazillion ideas, doulas, some little aspect of supporting a person while they're in labor. But can you give some examples of some of the people in Digital Course Academy that have had very profitable digital courses for a seemingly,
I'll give you a few different industries. So it really runs the gamut. I definitely have doulas and wellness providers in many successful courses. One that I'm thinking of, her name is Nicole Rankin, and she is an OBGYN. And she, many years ago, went through Digital Course Academy, and she created a course getting mothers prepared for birth. So her specialty is being in, delivering babies. But when she started to work with these women in the hospital, she realized there's so much they didn't know before they showed up to the hospital. And because she's a mom, because she's been doing this for a while, her 10% edge is, I know what they need to know before they show up. And quite honestly, it'd make my job a whole lot easier if they knew these things, and it would ease their minds. So she created a course, but she's working inside of a hospital. She's very busy. So she found the time. She didn't have the time. She found the time. She made the time to create the course. It was a busy season in her life because creating a course takes time, but she wanted it bad enough. She carved out the time. But then when she had her course, she didn't have to spend that time creating it anymore. And she put it on automation, meaning that she's selling it through automation, not having to show up live to sell, so that she could do her other job. She makes over $10,000 a month on an automated course helping women get ready to deliver their baby. So this is one example, very near and dear to the hearts of those listening. But I've got so many other examples. Like, for example, one of my students, she used to go into homes and she would build gardens for them, kitchen gardens. So vegetables, fruits, and herbs. And she would do this in Houston. She had 4 kids at home that she homeschooled, and then she'd have to leave the house and build these gardens. And she's like, I'm away from the house too much. This is way too taxing for me. I need an easier way to make money, but I really love what I do. She created a digital course showing everything she does when she goes to someone's home so that they can do it themselves. And in her mind, she thought, yeah, but they want me to do it for them. No one's going to buy this course. They want me to show up at their house. But when you open up your world to sell to different states, different countries, different areas, you'd be amazed how many people don't want to hire you. They want to do it themselves. And she has made over $1 million selling this digital course, teaching people something that she used to actually show up at their house and do. So don't let the limiting belief, I have to do it or no one will pay me. It is not true. So that's another one. I also have a student, and she's actually a therapist, and she meets with people in her office, but she wanted more freedom to not always have to show up in the office and always have to trade time for dollars. So she created a digital course on just one area of her expertise, how to feel worthy. So her whole digital course is about mindset. It's not how to do something, it's how to feel worthy. And she's been able to make an incredible living as an additional stream of revenue while still seeing her patients as well. So there's from dog training to getting your toddlers, your pesky eater toddlers to eat their dinner, to getting them to sleep through the night. I've got courses on boudoir photography, sex therapy. I mean, it runs the gamut. If you will have a course in mind, I probably have a student who has successfully created.
I'm sure you do. When I was in Momentum, I was always just blown away. People would be like, my course is on quilting or,
Yes,
cooking cake pops. And I'm like,
so
what?
many different topics, and they do incredibly well. So yeah, I'm really excited for your audience to explore this. The sky's the limit.
That's what I love about it so much. Because doulas, our audience is moms
Yes.
over the globe. There's millions, literally millions of moms. So what would you say to people who are struggling with that unworthiness feeling? Who am I to do this? Am I enough? Do I have enough training? You did talk about the 10% edge, but
Let's talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The easy way to put it, but I'll get into a little bit more detail. Who am I to be doing this? And my question is why wouldn't you be? Who are you? Why should someone else do it, but not you? Right.
Right.
And the reason I say that is because when you look around and you see other doulas doing some great things online, why can't that be you? You deserve that. And the only reason that you're not doing it, if you want to do it, and they are, is because they found the courage to do it even when they thought maybe it won't work. Don't wait to feel like you're ready. Don't wait to feel the confidence. Confidence comes from a proven track record. We have to really dive into our courage to do this. And so when you think, who am I to be doing this? Go back to that 10% edge. You just need to be a few steps ahead of those you serve. And here's the beautiful thing. When you're learning from somebody who is a few steps ahead of you, but they're not light years ahead of you, they're more relatable anyway. You feel like you like them and you get them because they get you. They were just there maybe a year or two ago, so they get everything you're feeling and going through. There's magic in that. So we don't need more time. We don't need more education. We don't need more. You already have what you need, but you do need to believe that this is possible for you. And that is rooted in worthiness. So let's talk a moment about something that I've seen come up with many of my students, but especially in the wellness community. And I know it has to show up in your community, where I feel weird charging for this.
Yes.
I feel weird taking money for this. And I just want to help people. I don't want to make it all about the money. But at the same time, why shouldn't you get paid for your skill and your knowledge? Because I promise you, you're paying other people for their skill and knowledge and never thinking twice about it. You would never walk into an establishment and ask for a service and walk out thinking they owed it to you. Never in a million years. But for some reason, some different industries and people doing special magical things like doulas, for instance, feel like it's not fair to want to make the money. And money allows you to do amazing things in this world. The more money you have, the more good you can do. And I would trust money with doulas who would do amazing things with it, because your hearts are exploding with goodness. Like, I just have such a special place for all of you. And so I need you to own that you deserve to get paid for what you do. And I can promise you, a lot of women would love to pay you for your services because they want to know what you know. So we've got to stand in our courage in taking the money that we deserve.
Yes. And I think thinking about that in that way, more money allows you to be more generous. More money actually allows you to help more people. You can freeze up your time. I have more time to go take a pro bono client who, in person, who really needs it, or, things like that.
That's a good point.
I have more time to spend with my family. So yeah, I'm glad that you said that. That's really good. So what about another thing I think that holds doulas back is that they're not super tech savvy, or they feel like they would have to hire a really fancy, videographer to teach a digital course. So what would you say to that?
Most of my students come in with zero tech experience, and that absolutely was me. I'd still say to this day, I'm not a really techie girl. So I like to keep it as simple as possible. I'm going to encourage everybody with their first digital course to keep it simple. You can get fancy later. So we're talking, if you want to even record yourself on video, which you don't have to, so stay with me for a second. If you do want to be on video like we are right now, let's just use our iPhone. Let's just keep it to a smartphone, keep it really easy. If you don't have fancy lighting, put yourself in front of a window to get some natural lighting if you need it. So we're not going to get fancy equipment because it's going to slow us down. But a lot of my students who create digital courses do so without getting on video. So we're talking slides and audio. That way, you're not going to slow down thinking, I've got to look good on camera, I got to sound good, I've got to read a script, I need a teleprompter. No, we don't need any of that. One of my very good friends who makes millions and millions of dollars every year with their digital courses, and she has for years, never shows her face in her course. It's all slides, audios, and PDF files. That's all. And she teaches wonderfully because the goal is to get people results. It's not so that you could show up and be the main attraction. So you don't need to be on camera if you don't want to. If you do, by all means, go for it. We're going to use simple equipment. And when I teach my students how to create a course, everyone's on a budget. No one's like flush with tons of money. So we're going to keep the software to a minimum and use the easiest software so we can get it done. At the end of the day, all I care about is you getting your message out there and getting people results. So technology should never stop you in your tracks because number one, if you learn from someone who's gone before you, they could teach you like me, or the technology out today for course creation has gotten so easy that watching a few tutorials, you'd be amazed what you can do.
That's so true. It is so true. And I love that you're saying to not let that hold you back. Like that should be. So the other hang up is how do you choose a topic to create a digital course on? What, like, do you have a method to on how to decide? And then how do you know it will actually be successful?
Okay. So when I teach people how to come with a digital course idea, I'll go through it really quick. This is something every year I do a boot camp, and this is something I teach in my boot camp in detail. But to give you a little hint, it's something called the sweet spot formula. And there's 4 quadrants. The first quadrant is where have you gotten results? What are you good at? It's that 10% edge. What could you do in your sleep? What could be a weekend course where, meaning they can get through it quickly, but it's something you've done over and over again that you know people want to know about? Where have you gotten results for yourself or for somebody else? Again, we don't need more time, certification, more education. You already have it. The second thing is when you think about who you want to serve, you could serve other doulas. You could serve the moms who are going to need a doula. You could serve the dads who are going to be right next to the moms, or other moms being right next to the moms having babies. The partner, I should say, you could serve that person as well through a digital course. There's different people you can serve. So when you think about the topic you want to teach, think about who would I be serving and what are they struggling with? What are their challenges? What are their needs? So that's the second quadrant. The third quadrant is money-making opportunities. Where are people spending money? So when you start to think about your 10% edge, what you're good at, what you could teach, are there books about it? Are there courses about it? Are there podcasts about it? Are there workshops about it? Because if the answer is yes, that is a good thing. That's your ultimate validator. If people are already making money around your topic, ding, 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 I love that. I don't want you to be first to market. I want other people doing what you're doing. So that's proof that there's money to be made and other people are going to want to learn from you instead of the people that are already doing it. And the fourth and final quadrant is what brings you joy. Choose a topic that you really love, that you could shine in, that when things get tough and you're trying to figure out maybe the technology or figuring out how to sell online, you're still going to get out of bed and excited to do it because you enjoy the topic. So when things get tough, you're still in the game. So you're going to think about what you're good at, who you want to serve, where is money been made in that area, and also what brings you joy. That's the first step we're going to take. And then I teach people validators, different things they can do to validate. But the first validator is it already making money in the marketplace.
And that, you know what, that is huge because I think that's also something that stops doulas. They say, well, someone else already does teach online childbirth ed, or somebody else does teach how to have an unmedicated birth in the hospital. But that you're so right. That's just an indicator that people will buy it. And then you can create your digital course in your own way and put your own flair on it. And
we have to believe there's enough room for everybody. And some people want to learn from this person, others want to learn from that person. What I do teaching digital courses, there's many people who teach it. But the reason I have such a big audience is number one, I keep showing up. Number two, I give great value. And number three, I know I'm not for everybody. So I'll put myself out there and do my own style. And whoever feels like, no, this girl could teach me a few things, they're going to follow along. There's enough room for everyone.
Yes. It's like, we deal with this all the time when people hiring a doula. People hire the doula they connect with.
Yes, exactly.
There's 10 in town. So there can be 10 digital courses on the same subject.
Perfect example. Exactly.
So I love that. And so speaking of you sharing your knowledge, you also have an amazing podcast called Online Marketing Made Easy that has I was going to say bazillions of downloads, but that's
I think
not evidence.
yeah, I think it has like 50 million downloads, and we just recorded the 600th episode. So, and we teach things like digital course creation and email list building and the mindset shifts entrepreneurs need to make to grow a business.
Yes. And it's so good. I don't listen to a lot of podcasts, but I do like yours because it's jam-packed with good information. It's not a lot of talking. So I will put the links to that in here. Let's see, a bazillion questions are coming in. So struggling with pricing. How do you choose like what to price your digital course at?
Yes. So there's 3 different types of courses you can create. And based on the type of course you create, you're going to start to play around with some pricing. So the first type of course is the starter course. It's that 101 jumping off basic course. You could get it created pretty quickly, and it's meant to get your students started, to get that momentum, but just to get started. And so because it's a basic course, you charge anywhere from $100 to $200. The second type of course is a spotlight course. This is where you're going to shine a light on one area of your expertise and go deep, like my student who did how to onboard new clients. That would be a spotlight course. But because it's so detailed and specific, you can charge more, anywhere from $200 to $500. And then finally, there's the signature course. This is the Mac Daddy of all courses. It's the full transformation from start to finish. So you're going to promise them big results and you're going to take them through step by step by step. So a signature course, it promises big results. You charge more, anywhere from $500 to $3,000. So it really runs the gamut in terms of what you can charge. But when you start to think about, okay, I want to create a spotlight course and I want to charge $500, let's say. Well, let's say that you started to come up with your goal of your launch. If you said, Amy, I would love to make $10,000 in October with my digital course launch. So if your goal is to make $10,000, which is fantastic for a first launch because you only go up from there, $10,000 and your course is $500, only 20 people need to raise their hand and say, I want that. 20 people. And if while you're creating your course, you grow your audience, you do not need a huge audience for 20 people to say, I want it. And so what I teach is growing an email list while you create a digital course. I teach both of them at the same time so that you have an audience to sell to when your course is done.
Yes, which is huge. So one last question. What about the fear? And I hear this coming up a lot. I've experienced this myself. The fear of people buying your course, but not doing the work and not getting the results that you're promising.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought this up. I actually haven't had this question in a while, and I think it's an important one. If you think about creating a course and your fears, what if people don't get results? What if they don't get to the finish line? Nobody's getting results. That feels horrible as a course creator. However, there's 2 sides to this. Number 1, I teach my students to do everything in their power to get their students to the finish line. It's my responsibility to design a course that's easy to navigate, to lay out the roadmap to show people where we're going, where we're at, or where we're starting, where we're at, and where we're going. It's also my responsibility to lay it out in bite-sized pieces so it's easy to digest and people feel like they're getting momentum. And when they get stuck, it's my responsibility to make sure I have a mechanism to answer their questions and help them troubleshoot. That's all on me as a course creator. But there's another person that's part of this equation, the person who bought the course. It's their responsibility to book time in their calendar to make time to watch the videos. It's their responsibility to take action. It's their responsibility to raise their hand when they get stuck. And so I teach my students how to create a course that gets people to the finish line, that helps them with all the things that might get in the way. But you only can take it so far, and then you need to let go. And it's going to be the responsibility of the student to get the results that you're promising based on what you've laid out. So I just say that to say there's 2 people here. You're going to do your part. You keep your side of the street clean. You do everything in your power to support and encourage, and that will help them do their part where they stay accountable and they get it done. But yeah, getting people to the finish line, it's a thing. I talk a lot about it in Digital Course Academy, how to get your students to the finish line.
Yeah. And I love what you say about it's ultimately not your, it's their responsibility.
At the end of the day, they have to have agency to say, okay, I want this, let's go.
Right. And so it's like, then it's like, not even starting because you're afraid of that is
right. Not, we can't do that. We've got to start. Do not let that stop you in your tracks. I'm scared people won't get results. No, there's so many things you can do as a course creator to help them get results. That is not something that should stop you from moving forward.
Okay, so what would you say to the doula who's all excited that it now feels real that they can create a digital course?
Yes.
So
Well, one thing I'd say is we have a quiz. I know you know this. We've got a quiz that helps people figure out if they're ready for a digital course. There's 3 types of people that have been making money with digital courses right out of the gate. The question is, are you one of them? And so you might be very surprised by the results, but based on a 2-minute quiz, I've been doing this for 14 years. I could spot a successful digital course creator from miles away. So you give me a few answers, I'll give you the results. Are you ready to create a course? Are you ready to create a course? And if you are, I'll give you the next steps to get started. If you're not, I will tell you what to do instead to help you build your business. So you can't lose with the quiz. It takes 2 minutes to create, and I know you have a URL.
I do. So you can head to douladarcy.com/DCA and you'll get to the quiz. I'm putting it in the comments right now. So yes, and the quiz is awesome. And like you said, you give tips based on the results where everybody is at. So everybody should go take that quiz and then start getting out there, helping more people build, and then, building your own empire, creating your own life. And again,
on your terms. That's the thing. Creating a life on your terms. And I really genuinely believe a digital course can help you do so.
It can, and it takes the pressure for doulas specifically to earn a living. There's like a number of clients you have to see in a month, and it's really not sustainable, especially if you have little kids, especially if you want to sleep at night. Like, having a digital course is another passive income stream that's generating revenue for you so that you can take that pressure off. And like you said, choose the clients you do want to work with during the day, but we work with people all the time. It takes that pressure off of, I have to go to 10 births this month if I'm going to pay my rent. When you have a digital course that's just bringing you in revenue while you are at a birth or while you are at someone else's house, it is truly life-changing. So it is definitely changed my own life for sure. I am living proof of that. So thank you, Amy Porterfield. It's been an honor to have you here.
Thank you, my friend. I love the work you do. Thank you for introducing me to your audience. It means the world to me. And I would just love to create more freedom for those of you that want to explore it. So take that quiz. Let's get started.
Yay. Awesome. Thank you so much, Amy. Have a great afternoon.
You too. Take care.
All right. Oh.